Have you ever wanted to create this? This? Or maybe even this? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to create all of this and more in Minecraft indev without installing any mods whatsoever. So, let's get into it. Okay, here's how we're going to do this. On this side, I have Minecraft in this lovely, flat, small, normal world where we'll be testing out all this stuff. And then on the right side, I have our other good friend, MBT Explorer, where I'll be messing with the world file. So as you can see over here, the file is split up into a couple of main sections where you can see what's in it. I collapsed the entities one. First, we're going to look at About, which holds some basic information about the world. Like, for example, the author of the world, me, Outplanet. I can actually change this to whatever I want. Like, for example, I could say it's Notch, the game's creator, or any other valid player name, or really anything if I'm not mistaken, and it'll work. However, I like being the author of this world, so I'll leave it as it was. Next is created on. I'm guessing this is probably something to do with the system time, but I'm not 100% sure what this number represents in terms of time. And finally, this world's name. Now, this is not the file name. This is a secret field that I'm guessing was used in classic multiplayer servers, but it's not used anywhere in indev. So let's give it a name. Let's call it Messing with Indev. Okay. So after the About section, there's the Environment section. Now, this section controls basic things about the world. Like, for example, this first section, cloud color. Now, this number represents, well, the color of the cloud on a scale of green to pink, right? So if I make this some absurdly large number, like 2 billion, and then I'll save, load the edited level. If I head outside in Minecraft now, look at this. The sky is green. And alternatively, if I come over here and I make this negative 20 billion, it'll be bright orange? I thought it'll be pink. Well, anyway, it'll be bright orange. So, there's a lot of colorful colors you can do by trying random numbers. And the default is white, but we can also make the colors straight black by setting it to 0. So let's try that. Now the clouds are black. I liked it when they were orange, so let's keep it like that and move on. Next up is the cloud height. This also has to do with the clouds. So this is the number of blocks above the ground that the clouds appear. So for example, if I make this, say, 2. No, 2 is not a good example. Let's make it 30. It'll be half as high above the ground as it was before. So let's see what this looks like in Minecraft. The clouds are below us. See? The clouds are below us. I made them a bit too low. Let me raise them up a couple blocks. Okay, now they're closer to home. Look at that. And alternatively, I can make them much higher also, but that's hard to see, so I'll skip that for now. Just like the cloud color, we can also change the fog color and the sky color, and they work exactly the same. So let's make the fog, green. And we'll make the sky 30,000, whatever that would be. Let's save and see what we ended up with. Oh my goodness. Green sky and yellow fog. This is definitely Minecraft. Okay, I'm going to leave it like that. Next up, we can look at how bright the sky is. This field only accepts positive or negative. That's all it really looks like. So we're going to set it to -1, and I'll show you what happens. Everything will be dark, like in the fiery theme. And now, positive numbers are what they are by default, where it won't be dark. Let's change it back. I don't like the darkness. Next, we can change, and this is only for flat and inland worlds, we can change what height the surrounding ground is at. So it's at 33 blocks right now, which I'm guessing is the level the flat is at. But let's say I want to put it at how clouds were before, 66. Whoa. It's like we're in a big cave or something. This looks so cool. I'm going to change it back. Let's make it like 40 this time. Okay, so now it's only a couple blocks above. I like that. It's kind of like a parameter. These next two are only for island worlds where there's water around. But they do much of the same thing as we saw with the ground, so I'll skip them. And finally, there is the time of day it is. So let's set it to 0 and see where the sun is. It'll be pretty hard to see with the atmosphere. So it's morning. So now we're going to set it to, this is short, so let's set it to 32,767. That's the maximum number that a short can hold. And we get that it's becoming night. So all positive numbers are day, and then I'm guessing negative numbers are night, up to 32,767. Cool information. I'll set it back to around noon. So that wraps up the environment section, which I feel is the most interesting, but next is the map. So this first section over here controls where spawn is, which is not that useful, because spawn is where you first appear and where the indev house is and all that. So these are not all that interesting, but this is the X, Y, and Z coordinates of where spawn was. And next is the height, length, and width of the world. These settings are very dangerous. If you tamper with them at all in an existing world, well, your world is done for. The world will never recover, and it'll just keep crashing anytime it gets to load. So don't tamper with these. And finally, there's the blocks and the data. Now, these are really, really big. And I have to explain kind of what they are. Okay, I have to explain the block ID system in Minecraft now. Every block in the game has a number associated with it. For example, 0 is air, 1 is stone, 2 is grass, and so on. Alright, every block in the game has a number associated with it. So, in that big section of the file that's labeled blocks is a number that represents each one. So basically it'll say one where there's a stone, and 2 where there's grass, and all the other blocks. It'll say for each one in a big list. Alright? And then there's the data. Certain blocks, such as saplings and torches and farmland with wheat inside of it, use what's called metadata, or extra block data associated with it to track certain things about it. Like, for example, the sapling uses a little timer in it that's up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 15. And then once it gets to 15, then it knows to grow into a tree. And torches, they have special numbers that are associated with them to say their orientation. Like, I think 4 is facing east, and so. And farmland also uses this to track its growth stage. So, like, 1 is where you just planted it, and 7, I believe, is when it's fully grown and ready to harvest. Right? So each of these extra blocks, which already have a block ID, have an extra number associated with them to track these special cases. This is called a block metadata or block data, which is what that extra block data list is for. Now, this system can be pretty exploited using MBT Explorer, so let's see what we can do with it. Okay, I've written a program that creates a bunch of random binary data to put in here, and I've copy and pasted it from the program into here and moved my player up in the air. I'll show you how to do that later, and we're going to see what comes of it in our world. So let's load the world. Oh, my frame rate, but look at that. It placed a bunch of random blocks because my program worked. Here, let's get a better view of it. Using this method, I can edit individual blocks in the world and place random ones in. I'm not going to mess with this data since most blocks don't even use it, but it is there if you want to use it. Keep in mind that the game will crash if it does not get exactly 1,048,576 bytes. And this absolutely tanks my frame rate with all the water and lava. Look at that. But it works. That's pretty cool. I'm going to revert back to a copy of the world now. Okay, next up is the entities section. Let's open it up and we see a bunch of entries. Now these 11 entries are for monsters that are in the world, like this skeleton and this other skeleton and this other skeleton. I guess there's a lot of skeletons. But down here, this 13 entry one, that's me. As you can see by my ID over here, local player. Now the skeletons had, this is a creeper. This creeper has an ID creeper. And the skeleton has an ID skeleton. This is how the game knows which model to display and some properties of it. And that's also how we know what these are called. This up here controls my inventory, which I can actually edit. Let me get some blocks in Minecraft real quick so I can show you. Okay. Now we're going to save the world. Now the inventory section has 2 entries, unlike the 0 I had before. And we can see these are the 2 slots that my dirt and planks are in. So we can see them. Now, we can also see the block IDs. So this 3, that is the dirt. And this 5, those are the planks. The planks are in slot 0, and the planks are in slot 1. 0, 1. Now, this is the number of dirt and planks I have. So I can edit this, and I can say I can have 99 of each, just like an early indev. And I also changed the data value here, but like I said, most blocks don't have that, so it's not worthwhile. Now, let's change the ID of this dirt. You may remember this method from when I got the gears in Diamond Block in Beta World, because I used this. Let's put something random, like 21. Sure, let's see what that is. Okay, save this up and see what it is in Minecraft. It's 99 planks, just like I said I would have, and 1 red cloth. And there's so much more you can do with this. The reason why data values are listed as damage in here is if I had a tool, for example, the amount of damage it would have taken away from it will be stored here as well. It's saving a bit of space in the file. Next up in my player is the motion. This one's really fun to mess around with. So let me show you how it works. This is the amount of momentum I have when saving the world. Okay, let's give myself 100 momentum, save, and load, and let's see what happens. Whoa, I'm all the way over here now. Let's give myself some vertical momentum this time also. Oh, well, I'm very high up because of all that momentum I got. So let's try and get myself a bit less momentum this time. And make it not that time of day. Try 3 momentum here, and 3 momentum, and 6 momentum here. Whoa! Look how I get flung. That's crazy. That momentum really means something. Keep my momentum back to 0 for now, though. Next up is my player position. Now, I can really just edit this to whatever I want. So, let's say I want to be 1,000 blocks out on the x-axis over here. Well, I'm somewhere. And I'm 1,000 blocks out on the x-axis. Pretty cool. So I can basically just change my player position to whatever I want. It's like teleportation. Just change this back to a reasonable number, like 30. Yeah, okay, I'm by these trees. Perfect. Next up is my rotation, which is fairly straightforward, and I'm not going to touch on it. So we're going to move on to these guys right here. Air, attack time, death time, fall time, fire, and hurt time. These all don't really do anything. They're really only used during gameplay to track these certain statistics, but they're not really that useful editing because they don't do anything when you edit them. However, health, that is how much health I have. So we're going to try 2 things. We're going to set it to a really big number, like 60. So you're going to see that I have seemingly the same amount of health as I would have, but if I tower up a little bit and take some fall damage... Oh, that's a cloud. I just took damage, but not really. I do actually have 60 health, just it's not rendering properly. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, if I set my health to, say, -2, let's see what happens here. I just die instantly. Instant death. And now, this instant death will come in handy for looking at the final feature of the player entity, this score. This was a feature from Classic Survival Test where it would keep track of how many monsters you killed before you died yourself. It's not in use at all in indev, so it's basically just a number I can change to whatever I want. So, let's change it to 2 with a bunch of zeros on it. And yeah, that number will show in there. Wow, that must be a high score. You can change this to whatever number you want. And that wraps it up for the player entity. But some other entities have features also. Like, for example, the item entity over here. This will keep track of the count, damage, and ID of the entity, just like how there was in my inventory. And I don't think one spawned in this world, but if it's a sheep, it'll also keep track of whether it's sheared or not, which is when you punch it and the cloth comes off. Finally, this last little section down here, tile entities. That's basically the same as my inventory, but for chests. So it'll keep track of anything in a chest's inventory. But with that, we've dissected an entire MBT file for Minecraft indev. Thanks for watching, and if you like what you see, please consider subscribing. But until next video, bye-bye!